All Blacks, too good for the Wallabies in Bledisloe number one. But a late fight back from the Wallabies in kind of the final 10, 12 minutes means the scoreline actually makes it look not too bad. 33 points to 25. At one point it was like, 33-8? And it looked like it could be a possible hiding. But the Wallabies kept fighting. And it's a respectable scoreline at the end of the day. We will go through some of the key events of the game, some of the stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how this one played out. Like I said, the All Blacks didn't really look like losing it because they were largely beyond 7 points for much of this game. Although the start of the game, I don't think either side will be that happy with, particularly the Aussies. They were kind of the masters of their own downfall at the start of the game, but also credit to the Kiwi guys for kind of putting pressure on the Aussies, especially at line-out time, because that was where they were absolutely struggling. Must have been 4 times. Was it 3 or 4? I was losing count. The Aussies would get a penalty early, kick for touch. I mean, it's windy, I should say that early on. It's pretty windy at Eden Park in this game. You can see the flags in the background really blowing at full tilt. So very windy, and Tom Banks is kicking for touch. It leaves a bit to be desired. He's not chewing off a heck of a lot of meters, at least early on. And then the Wallabies line out is it's just brutal. They're getting enough pressure on the All Blacks guys to get down their end and put some pressure on, but the line out execution, man. One of them, they kind of secured the line out, they knocked it on, trying to set a maul. Another one, Tate McDermott just kind of knocked it on as Salakai Lotto batted it down to him. Although it was a tough ball to take, but man, if you're going to beat the All Blacks at Eden Park, you need to be taking that kind of ball. Dropped it, just unforced errors, man. And like I said, I think the third one was not straight. It was pretty brutal, and they needed Banks to be chewing off more meters, although it does take a while to adjust to those conditions. I haven't been to Eden Park numerous times in my life. I can say Eden Park gets pretty windy at times. It somehow kind of funnels the air. I don't know if it's like Wellington windy, but it's pretty windy. The All Blacks had their first chance in the Wallabies 22, and Paisami, he had a good kind of defensive read on the All Blacks guys, made more and knocked the ball on. So neither side was kind of getting a lot of joy early, and that may be why when the All Blacks had a chance to kick a long penalty to open the scoring, they did it. The Wallabies, the first few times, kind of decided to go for touch, but the All Blacks, a bit more conservative, decided to go for a penalty. It was a long one. Severeese was having to hold the ball for longer when he was lining it up because it was, threatening to blow over off the tee. But he nailed it. Good kick. 3 points to 0. I think the first penalty was from an All Black scrum. Tom Banks, I mentioned he wasn't getting a lot of meters off his kicks. He got a few meters when the ball bounced off his face, which was, again, not ideal. He was having a bit of a mare early, to be honest. Couldn't take a high ball. Ball hits him square in the face and bounces off his hands. So it's a knock on. He's putting his team under a bit of pressure. A few minutes later, they concede a penalty, and Moonga kicks that one as well. It's 6-0. Lolosio had a chance to kind of make it a tit-for-tat thing when he lined up a shot on 25, but he missed it. And his goal kicking is honestly going to be a bit of a story of this game. I mean, it's always hard to say with the goal kicking because you never know how else a game could have panned out. Like I said, after the British and Irish Lions and Springboks first game, the Springboks missed a bunch of goal kicks and they ended up losing. You can look at that and go, man, it's potentially costly, but you can also look at it and go, man, the game totally pans out differently if those kicks are taken. But anyway, it will certainly be a talking point. Lolosio misses that one. Again, in a game where you go into Eden Park, where the All Blacks haven't been beaten for donkey's years, you need to be taking your chances. You need to be kicking your penalty. He's a young man. He'll learn from this experience, and he's got another crack at it, hopefully, if he plays next week. But, costly. And then Moonga gets another one right before half hour to make it 9-0. 9-0 in these conditions, and the way that first half's been going, a pretty messy one, is looking like a pretty decent lead, to be honest. They do get one, though, like on 32 minutes, the Wallabies. That one was a high tackle from Metallic on McDermott, which is one of those ones where it's like, man, he's a little dude. Metallic's a big dude. It's a seatbelt. But those are getting pinged all day long. And Lolosio did get that one, so it's 9-3. So at least it's back within a score for the Wallabies. Maybe a little bit of uncomfortable play for the All Blacks, having not been able to really set anything that's been looking for a try at that point. Neither side's been looking like getting anywhere near the try line. That being said, the game did come alive. It was Callaway's try, man. It's the Wallabies who did it on 36 minutes. They had a set play. Remember, their line-out up until this point has been atrocious. And yet they backed themselves, man. They throw a long line-out. Someone in the stream says like they're lulling the All Blacks into a false sense of security with their poor line-outs. This one's a super long one. Goes past the 15. Paisami gets it. He runs it. Mo'unga manages to kind of beat him. And then a good pass to Callaway, who runs a great line. It's a heck of a try, man. Heck of a set play from the Wallabies. I don't know that the All Blacks will be caught again with that one if they do their homework on where they were beaten. But yeah, for the Wallabies, it's an unfortunate one that he misses the conversion. They could have gone in front, but he doesn't, so it's 9 points to 8. And a costly one for the Wallabies in that they allow the All Blacks back into the game. And I guess if you look at it from an All Blacks point of view, good for them to kind of shift back up a gear. Bit of a wake-up call from the Callaway try. Reece gets one. They mauled it, the All Blacks. They went really close to forwards, and then Reece kind of dove over from like 1 metre out. Not a typical Sever Reece try, but he did well to score that one. So halftime at 16 points to 8. That's what I mean by it's kind of comfortable. The All Blacks mostly were looking pretty comfortable. I mean, at 9-8, it's starting to look hairy, and then 16-8, it's back to being comfortable. Halftime run meters 134 to 112. All Blacks have had more possession, 57%, more territory, 55%, but more turnovers conceded, 7 to the Wallabies, 3, and all 3 for the Wallabies. There will be those knock-ons, either at line-out time or just in general play. Pretty bad. Line-outs operating 7 out of 10. All Blacks are 3 from 3. Second half, Sever Reece gets another one seemingly as the All Blacks score. Like if you're looking at the first half and going, it was a bit ugly, bit rusty, windy. The All Blacks go coast to coast like a proper, Sunday afternoon kind of try, really, from their own goal line. The great hands, like and the passing and the build-up was phenomenal. But I looked at it first go and saw Aaron Smith's pass. I think it was to Retallick, and I was like, that looks dodgy. Sure enough, they went to look back at it, and that pass was forward, so it was a great try. Probably the try of the game that got chalked off, but rightly so. Remember, it's an all-Kiwi officiating team on the All Blacks, which is unusual, but I guess COVID. So, that one was called back. 49 minutes, there's a scrum penalty on halfway to the Wallabies. They line up another shot at goal. Lolosio gives it a good whack, and he's got the legs, but it goes wide. So it's another missed kick. So you're looking at 2 penalties, 6 points, and then a conversion, 8 points thus far. And then what was probably a huge momentum shifter, like from that missed penalty, which is potentially one that gets them kind of closer to being back in the game, to an intercept try, man. Mo'unga, I think he picks off, I think it was Paisami's pass out wide, and Mo'unga, man, he puts the hammer down. Banks can't catch him. I think Banks was closing the distance, maybe, but I think Mo'unga kind of eased off towards the end. It's an absolutely brutal one for the Wallabies, but man, you can't be giving the All Blacks a freebie like that. Mo'unga reads the game really well. You got to be so careful, and he picked that one off. Great work from Mo'unga. So it's 23 points to 8, and comfortable just got more comfortable. So yeah, it's a brutal one for the Wallabies because it's a shift from being competitive, getting back into the game, to suddenly being back under your own posts. The All Blacks, as the All Blacks often do, they see their opponent down and they kind of turn the screws a wee bit. Havili gets another one on 58 minutes. And Smith, man, with a ripper of a pass. In his 100th game, Smith put in some proper rippers in this game. Lolosio was forced to kind of one-on-one defend Havili and just looked all at sea for that one. Pretty unfortunate for the young fella, but Havili's got real good feet as well, so he's a hard man to stop from that kind of distance. 28-8. And then Smith again, another try assist. He rips it past the D-Mac out on the wing after the forwards. The forwards from the All Blacks have been hammering on the door for the Wallabies. They didn't look like they wanted to give it up, but Smith called it. And he ripped a pass out to D-Mac out on the left wing. Good finish. 33 points to 8. So the All Blacks did miss a couple of conversions as well from out wide. But 33-8, it's looking like, man, the Wallabies can concede 50 here, but credit to the Wallabies, and you'll have to say maybe this is an area where the All Blacks will be looking at with a little bit of concern, taking their foot off the gas. The Wallabies strike back with 3 tries, man. Banks gets 2. First one on 68 minutes. They go through a bunch of phases with advantage. And, they just get it wide left. And, Banks goes over. That one, I think, Lolosio actually was part of the build-up. And him and Tamua managed to get the All Blacks guys just to second-guess themselves, bite in a little bit, which meant that I think D-Mac had kind of bit in a little bit early. And so that gave Banks a bit of space. So good try. 33-13, missed conversion. So that's like 10 points missed. Banks gets another one. Lolosio puts in a great grubber kick. And great grounding from Banks to get that ball down in the end goal. Again, missed conversion though, 33-18. So it's like 12 points missed. And then the final one's to Uelese. It's a maul and he peels off really well. Havili's never going to stop him from kind of close range. And it's a good forward try. It's a consolation try at that point. Like the All Blacks know, even if they concede, they're not going to lose the game. If Lolosio gets all his kicks, then it's a big moment. Maybe the All Blacks defend that one a bit differently. I don't know. But they get that final conversion. So it's 33-25. So on the scoreboard, it doesn't look too bad. But in the scheme of things, once the All Blacks kind of went bang, 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 they were never looking like losing. But as I mentioned, the Wallabies 3 in return certainly allows them to go into the changing sheds to do the post-match kind of review with their heads a bit held higher and a bit more confidence going into next week. They're not staring down the barrel of 50 points to 8. It's 33-25. So final stats, run meters 390 to 258, so the All Blacks kind of dominating those ones. But position and territory actually shifted the way of the Wallabies in that second half. So 54 and 58 for position and territory respectively in favour of the Wallabies. Both sides tackling in the mid-80s. Both made 100-plus tackles, so kind of similar numbers. But penalties conceded, man, All Blacks 18-9. That will be an area of concern. Maybe Ian Foster will put out a video. We'll have to wait and see. Line-outs 8 from 8 for the All Blacks. It's a great stat. But for the Wallabies, 15 from 18. Those 3 missed ones are all early on, so it did get better. But it started out poorly. And imagine, man, the Wallabies, start of the game, if they had actually managed to get some line-out ball going properly, they might have had a different result. But that's all just speculation, man. Individuals, Papali'i makes 15 out of 15 tackles. Good shit from him. Hooper's 15 from 17. Paenga is 16 from 17. So some good defensive displays all round. I think Havili made like 12 but missed 3. So good numbers like in terms of quantity, but you'll want to be getting those missed tackles down a wee bit. Mo'unga, man, he's hard to defend. 3 defenders beaten, 80 run meters, most of those in that intercept. D-Mac beats 6 defenders. Like D-Mac's selection was a little bit questioned, but I thought, he showed what he can do at fullback. Good shift from him. Callaway also beats 6 defenders, standing in for Korobeti, who was, remember, suspended. So if you are going to put your hand up, beat the 6 defenders and getting a try. Not a too bad way to do so. I think it's 12 missed points from the Wallabies from the boot, and then 4 from the All Blacks. So if the Wallabies kick their points, obviously this game is a lot closer. But as I mentioned, the way the game panned out, the kicks didn't look to really be an issue because the All Blacks, for the most part, were more than 2 scores ahead. So anyway, I'm going to go to bed because the British and Irish Lions are on in like a few hours, so I need to get some sleep into me before getting up at like 3:45 in the morning or something stupid. But good start to the campaign. Good to see the All Blacks and Wallabies guys back in action. A bit of rust early on that they kind of shook off, but as I mentioned, good to see them back. Good crowd. And you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. How did you think it went? If you did manage to get 14 minutes through this video, do me a favor and chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel. It's all helpful stuff. And I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.